Coach Troy of Metro Lutheran Ministries Financial Opportunity Center, here again to talk to you about some financial literacy terms. As a matter of fact, today we're going to take a look and go specifically at 8 commonly misused financial terms. Now, there's obviously more than 8 terms out there, but we're going to take a look at 8 that are commonly either misused or not fully understood. I think it'll become clear as we go through. But our number one is investment. You'll hear people say they're going to make an investment. I'm going to buy a car. That's my investment. Well, an investment has a very particular meaning. An investment has the possibility to grow in value. So if you're going to go buy a vehicle, if you take a look at the screen, you're going to see a 1965 Ford Mustang. It's a classic American muscle car. If you can get that car in good condition and keep it in good condition, you'll probably sell it for more than you paid for it. It's going to appreciate in value the more that it's around. There are few of them around, and especially in this case, a brilliantly candy apple red with a convertible. Oh my gosh, it's going to make money for you. On the right, however, you see a 2010 Town and Country minivan. Now, if you've had one of these, you know they're a wonderful vehicle. But you also know they carry around a lot of kids and Happy Meals and muddy soccer shoes and all of that. That 2010 Town and Country is not going to appreciate in value. It's not going to make more money for you. So an investment is something that has the possibility to grow in value. You might buy that 1965 Ford Mustang, and on your way home, you might run into the side of a building, ruining the value of the car. But the possibility was there. And that's the key to when you're looking at something as an investment. Is it going to grow in value for you? All right. Number 2 on our misunderstood words is dividend. A lot of people just don't understand. They don't get it. What's a dividend and what's a dividend do? Well, a dividend is something that you might earn because it's a portion of the company's profits. So if you have any sort of an investment that it takes into account a company's profit, you might have some stock. You might have been given some stock when you were working for a company. That was often a benefit that would be given. So if the company is making a profit, they may decide to share that with everybody who owns stock. So every share of stock would get a certain amount of a dividend. Now, not all companies pay out dividends, and all companies that do pay out dividends may not pay them out every year. So a dividend is great when it comes, but it's not a guarantee. All right. Term number 3, equity. And this is another phrase that sometimes people misunderstand. Equity represents how much of something you actually own. And you'll often hear it in terms of someone's house. For example, somebody will say, I have 20% equity in my house. Well, what does that mean? Okay. What that means is that when you bought the house, you borrowed $200,000 in this example. And in the beginning, you owe that entire amount. You don't actually own any of the house. You owe, OWE, $200,000. But when it comes to actually owning the house, you don't. You have 0% equity. Now, let's say you've been paying on that house and you've paid off $40,000 of the principal balance. All right. Now that means you're only going to owe $160,000 or about 80% of the original debt. What that means for you is you now own 20% of that house. You now have 20% equity, which could allow you, if under the right circumstances you decided you wanted to take out a home equity loan, you might be able to do so at that point. All right. Term number 4, fixed income. Now this one gets bandied around a lot because people think they understand. I'm on a fixed income because I receive Social Security. And while that's a true statement, when we're talking about investments and financial literacy, fixed income is typically referring to your investments. In this case, typically low interest rates and low risk investments. So typically that's looking at bonds, some securities, certificates of deposit, that's a fixed amount of money. It's not going to blow up and give you crazy amounts of money, but it's fixed. It's going to be the same amount. It's going to be easy to understand and to deal with. Now, the next few, if I can get my computer to work, let's look at term number 5. What does deferred tax mean, or tax deferred? You'll hear it stated both ways. Well, tax deferred just designates that money in your account or your investment will be taxed when you withdraw the money. So you can put as much money maybe as you want to in there pre-tax. Oftentimes people do this with 401ks. The company will let you put in as much money as you want pre-tax. But then once you withdraw that money at the end in retirement, that's when they're going to tax it at the rate that's available at that time. So something to take into consideration. Now, along with tax deferred, we have tax free. And what does that mean? Well, tax free refers to money in accounts or investments that you may have that will not be taxed. Now, the trick here is that money that's in there was probably taxed before you got it. It's money that you're spending that is after you've paid income tax already. But anything that you put in there can grow and mature and will not be taxed when it comes out. The most common ones, as you can see here, are the Roth IRA and the 529 account, which is another education account that's available out there. Now, for number 7, bonds. Oh, wait a minute. No, not those bonds. These bonds, yes. These bonds. What are bonds? Bonds are just investments that are issued by states and cities and some corporations as a way to borrow money. So basically what a bond does is if you buy the bond, you're going to loan the state or the city or the corporation money for a set amount of time. While you have that bond, you're going to receive regular interest on that amount. So you're charging them for letting them use your money. And when the bond matures, you'll get your original investment back. Now, these are usually fairly safe investments. I mean, the state's going to be around, the cities are going to be around. They can sometimes fail, but it's not real common. But it's also not a real high rate of investment. This is just a nice, steady, low rate of return on an investment. It's a good beginning way to invest money. And our final word, our final number 8 of financial literacy terms that are often misunderstood, seems real simple. It's just taxable. And I suppose it really is, but what do people really mean when they say something's taxable? Typically, they're just referring to the fact that that money, whether it's in an investment, it's a dividend that you receive, it's the improvements in your money market account, or any account that you have, that it will be taxed during that year. Now, you'll typically receive a 1099 tax form, and this is an important thing to remember. You may try to say, oh, I don't want to have to let the government know I got that extra money. Well, if you got a 1099 tax form, guess what? So did the IRS. So know before you invest in something, is it going to be taxable income? Is it tax deferred or is it tax free? Those comments will all make a difference on what you should invest in. So as we wrap this up, remember, this is Coach Troy with Metro Lutheran Ministry, the Financial Opportunity Center. If you'd like to visit with us in the KC Metro area, you can contact us at 816-285-3131. Remember, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and go out and see the rest of our videos here on YouTube. And remember, feed the pig.